other person's point of view, and I'm just like so distraught over it. I'm so excited to start the next book. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brooklyn, and for today's video I have a very exciting reading vlog planned. I'm going to be starting Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. I ended up pulling this book for my 25 for 2025 challenge that I do over on my TikTok. I knew I had to film a reading vlog to capture this moment because I know so many people love this series. I thought, why not make a little reading vlog series of reading every book in this series. Today we're starting with Throne of Glass. Initially I was going to start with Assassin's Blade because I've seen that that's kind of like the prequel. That's the prequel to this book and series, but I've seen people also mention that just to read it in publishing order, so that's what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll have a different opinion once I get to that point and realize that I probably should have read it the other way, but I don't know, we'll see. I am very excited to read this. As I mentioned, so many people love this series. I've heard Sarah J Maas's writing is amazing. This will be my first book from her, so I am very excited to start this series. One thing I will say is that I do not know really much about this series. I feel like with other books, like you could describe what Fourth Wing was without really even reading about dragons. I know like ACOTAR is something to do with like fae and bats. Like that's all I really know, but I've never really heard anything about that with Throne of Glass. So I'm kind of going to this blind. I did read the back of this just to get an understanding of it, and it sounds really interesting. I did start this earlier today while I was just at work in between stuff, and I got to chapter 2. So we're not really that far into it. I'm on page 6. So far I'm enjoying it. I'm very excited to see where this book goes and the series, and if it lives up to the hype. I'm sure it will. I just wanted to intro this vlog and get started with this video. Hi you guys, so I have a little update for you. I started the book, obviously. I'm currently right here where this tab's at. I started reading today at work and I'm 113 pages in. I started listening to it initially when I went on my walks just to kind of get into the story. I thought maybe the audiobook would help, and I also really wanted to get started with the story because I've been reading so many books for so many other videos. I really wanted to start this one. I feel like listening to the audiobook was good and bad to start the book off because sometimes my mind wanders when I'm listening to audiobooks and walking because I'm just like not paying attention sometimes or just thinking about other things. The first 3 chapters I listened to on audiobook, and then I kind of went through and scanned them just to make sure I didn't miss any information. I'm actually really enjoying this book. I can't really remember if I mentioned I never really heard anything about Throne of Glass or like what the main plot of the story was, but I feel like it's just like a very good fantasy. Like it's very solid. So far, it's basically hit every point of the bat. Also, I don't know if I'm saying the names right. I looked it up online, so I may or may not be saying them right, but I think I am. Selena is like the main girl. She's been held captive or like held as a slave for the last couple of years, I believe, under the rule of the king. One day, the captain of the guard takes her to see the crown prince, who then basically offers her the chance of freedom if she competes in these like trials or tournaments amongst I think like 23 other killers or assassins, like people who fight are like champions, to try and prove herself and become a champion to the king. So she accepts on behalf of the deal. She goes to the castle, which is all of glass and stuff, and while she's there she's training. They're prepping for the like competition or like the fights for the tournament, and there's like these trials and stuff. It's very similar to other fantasies, but I feel like this one is just easier to absorb. And obviously the first few chapters for fantasies is kind of harder because you have to use your brain a bit more. You're getting familiar with the language and like the fantasy style of it and the names, and sometimes they're confusing. Like I found a lot of them confusing. I did go on like a wiki page or something and they had them all on there, which was perfect, and like pronunciation, so that's awesome. And then on the back here it says, and a princess from a faraway country will befriend her. We met her. We got to that part of the book. We're just kind of watching her get used to life in the castle now and preparing for these tests that are coming up. Kind of giving Hunger Games where they're all in the training room and stuff and preparing for like the big battle, but it's over the span of 13 weeks. Every week someone's gonna like either get sent home or get killed, and there's other ways that the competitors can also get sent home or killed too. She's just trying to navigate all of that. She's having her encounters with the crown prince, Dorian. I like him. He's very charming, very just like golden retriever. And then the captain of the guard, Kale, if I'm saying that correctly. I love him. That's the thing. I feel like with me, I'm such like a hopeless romantic where I just want to find romance and everything, especially if this is a fantasy. Not every fantasy is going to be like a romantasy, especially if this is more like high politics. And I can't remember if people said it was or not? Because I thought Dorian was from Akatar. So I'm so confused about that because everyone's like, I love Dorian, I love Dorian. I'm like, wait, should I love him too? Because I'm loving the captain of the guard. That man, I like Kale. So I don't know. I'm like trying to find little moments and stuff. And sometimes listening to the audiobook, the way they say like the MMC's lines is very like straightforward. And sometimes when I feel like I'm reading it, I like enhance it and make it more like flirty or bantery than probably what it is. I also really like Selena as our main character. She's very strong, but she also has her weaknesses. And I feel like we're learning more about her as the story goes because she's also very hidden and closed off because she has to be. But there's also like little secrets and stuff and underlying, like, what's the word? Underlying, like hidden agendas that I feel like Dorian and Cole, I have such a problem with thinking of his name. I have to like picture it. Cole. Dorian and Cole. Dorian and Cole. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Oh my gosh. Anyways, but those two, I feel like they have like some underlying thing. I feel like it's not, I don't know. I just feel like there's so much more to the story and I'm so excited to keep reading and see where all this goes. It also mentions on the back here that it says when her competitors start dying mysteriously one by one, Selena's fight for freedom becomes a fight for survival. And we already had one of the competitors get murdered. So, and it was like very gruesome and gory kind of. So someone's doing that. We don't know who. So I'm very excited to see it. Everyone's kind of mysterious and doing their own thing or like slipping away or gone for a period of time and we don't know where they're at. I'm very excited for this. It's very fun. She's also getting thrown into this like royal world where she wears dresses and corsets and stuff, but she's still like training and fighting. So I really like it and I'm very excited to continue. That is all I have for my update for now. I'll probably check in when I'm like halfway through maybe, or just have any more thoughts. I have seen a couple people say that they don't really like this book as much, but the other books in the series get better as it goes on. So I am very curious to see how all this ends and plays out. I wanted to finally give you guys an update because this has been sitting on my shelf for quite some time and I needed to sit down and read it for a bit. I'm at the lake right now. Thought it'd be nice just to be here in a little change of scenery and just sit in my car. So yeah, I'm gonna head home now. I've been here for a little bit and probably just continue reading this for the rest of the night. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next update. I wanted to give you guys a little update. I made it to chapter 24, page 171, because I drew this book for my 25 for 2025. The page that I had to get to was 168, so that was my goal for tonight. I'm very close to halfway. Halfway is like 202 pages. I am enjoying it. I think it is a little slower paced. Things are happening, but nothing is really intense, so I'm wondering if like the last chunk of the book will be crazy or if it just slowly progresses as the books continue on in the series. More of the champions, as it's mentioned on the back, are being found dead. So whoever's doing this, very dangerous. So I'm curious about that plot point that's happening. We're getting more scenes between Selena and Nehemiah, if I'm saying that right. And it's fun to see their little friendship grow, and that's a cute aspect of it. One thing I did forget to mention earlier was that this book's in third person point of view, which I'm not having too much of an issue with. I don't mind. I think it's flowing nicely. I feel like it's like a mix of third and first because we're still getting inside of Selena's thoughts, but then it jumps to third person point of view because we've gotten perspectives from Kale. I'm gonna struggle with his name this whole video about how he sees Selena, and then we also get perspectives from Dorian, and I'm loving it. I feel like there's gonna be like a love triangle or something, but I really love Selena and Kale's dynamic and the way they interact with each other and just their banter, because he doesn't see her for being beautiful. Like, he sees her because she is pretty, but he recognizes like, oh, she's a fighter, she's a warrior, like she's this and this. Whereas like Dorian saw her for her looks, always mentions her physique, or just like, you know what I mean? He sees like the physical stuff for her, and then it's like the deeper stuff later on. But Selena's actually having like deep conversations with Kale. So I don't know who's gonna end up with who. Anyways, I just want to give you guys a little update on that. I am gonna read a little bit more. I do work tomorrow, so I will be reading a chunk of it then. I'm excited to see where the story goes. Definitely slower paced, but I like it. It's a very solid fantasy. So that is all I have for you guys right now, and I will come back tomorrow with a little bit more thoughts and opinions. Hi guys, so I have a little update. I've been reading periodically through the day. Like I said, I couldn't really film anything during work. Benny? Oh, and Honeybee, hi. What are you doing in here? I did read a good chunk of it. I left my bookmark in from when I started. At the start of the day, I was at chapter 24, page 171. And then throughout the day, I just kind of read and I got to page 215. That was about 44 pages. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know. Anyways, I just read like 2 chapters. So now I'm on chapter 30, page 223. I am writing down some like theories I have. I'm going to call them spoilers. I am going to have a spoiler section at the end of this video. So this whole main part isn't going to be any spoilers, but the last bit will be like spoilers / theories I have that I want to chat about. And then another part that I want to talk about, I'm starting to really like her writing style. Once again, this is my first Sarah J. Maas book and I didn't really know what to expect going into this. I feel like her writing reads more like a younger style. I don't know how to describe it because whenever I would see people read these, I'd be like, oh my gosh, that's going to take so much brain power. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through these. I find it very easy to read this book and kind of get just lost in the world and not really focus on time. I definitely like that her pacing is slower, as I mentioned in another clip, I think. She's giving us a little more like, I would say intimate details or scenes of the characters and just kind of special moments to where it's not all fighting and battles and stuff or just talking about politics, where we're slowly learning more information and key details about, I guess, aspects of the story that later on, I'm sure, in this book and in the series are all gonna build up to some big outcome. I'm really enjoying the moments between characters where we're learning more about one another. It's almost showing them as being normal, and yes, they're a part of this fantasy world, but they're also like real people who have real conversations and whatever. So I just kind of like that aspect of it. It's not just all like battle and like life or death and I'm the weakest link here and whatever. Like no, like there's layers to the story, there's layers to the characters, and we're learning more about them as we go. Little parts between Selena, Kale, and Dorian I really love, or just each individual, like one with her at a time, or like whenever they're having their moments with Selena. They're always so fun and so cute, and it's not like forefront in your face. I'm loving it. So I do have like some quotes that I want to talk about in the spoiler section. Right now I won't talk about it. Hoping to get to like maybe page 300 by tonight and try and finish the book tomorrow, and I'll give you guys more thoughts and feelings as I go. But right now it's just like a really good book. Like it's not like anything out of this world, something I've never read before, but it's just still really good, and I'm excited to get into this series, and it doesn't feel it's going to be that overwhelming, if that makes sense. That's all I have for I have found very interesting for this book specifically is that I can't find a good playlist on Spotify. I find one, but they're not very high fantasy or like that type of music or vibe, so I'm very confused on how people perceive this series, because sometimes there's like really upbeat music and I'm like, I don't feel like that's the vibe, you know what I mean? I want like a fantasy playlist. Anyways, currently on chapter 33, page 248, slowly making my way through this book. Kind of feels like the same things happening like every chapter. Nothing is like progressing that much, and that's kind of annoying me because it's kind of necessary, I guess, with what's happening right now in the plot. On the back, how it mentioned that competitors start mysteriously dying. That plot is developing, but very slowly, and I think other characters are being hinted at being a part of that or have some correlation to it. So that's like really all that's been going on. And then I think there's like some more development between the characters, like relationship wise, but that's really it. I don't know, I'm like enjoying it, but it's also very slow, and like now that I think about it, it's very similar each chapter. So I'm just gonna keep reading it. Hopefully I can get to, I don't know, I like slowly read it, but it doesn't feel like I'm slowly reading. So maybe I'll get to page 300 tonight before I go to bed. Chapter 40 would be my goal, and then I'll just finish it off tomorrow. I want to do a little check-in though and let you guys know where I'm at and my thoughts and opinions so far on the book. It's good. I just think like I want it to pick up just a little bit. I am so sad right now. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I love, as I mentioned before, with the different point of views that she gives us. They're all in third person, but the scene, what chapter is this? Chapter 39, page 299 to like 301. That whole sequence of events is insane. This like love triangle is actually, I'm like pulling in multiple ways, you know, different scenes with each person. I'm like, yes, I mean, this is cute. And then it flips to like her point of view, and then she's happy. And then it flips to the other person's point of view. And I'm just like so distraught over it. It was a ball, and I put on the dramatic violin music playlist that I have, and it works so good. And then Genesis, that's like another rendition or version from the violin music, started playing on page 301 at the start of it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. And then it cuts to another point of view, and I'm sick about it, truly. So yeah, I'm gonna talk more about it in the spoiler section. I have 2 bookmarks going on my book, because like I have one for where I want to be at, like a goal for reading, and then one where I'm actually at. And last night I stopped at chapter 37 because that was like page 280, and my goal was to get to 300. I didn't. And then I went to page 300 where my like goal chapter bookmark was. And so I started reading that, and then something happened in the scenes that I just read. I don't remember that, but like I'm just gonna keep going. And then I realized, I was like, where's my other bookmark? And I realized that I missed like a whole 20 pages of reading that I just completely forgot about. So then now I'm like caught up, and even after the ball, crazy stuff is happening. So I'm actually getting really excited to keep reading. I'm currently on page 322, chapter 43. That's my update, but I am just like so sad right now about this other point of view. I hope it's not like this whole series, but I have a feeling of where it's gonna go, and I don't really like it, if I'm being honest. So that was just upsetting to me. Yeah, that's my update. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. I'll probably come back. I might film my reaction to the last pages if it's really intense, but if not, I'll just come back with like a review and a final update. Insane. So worth it though. I'm tired, but like I'm so excited to start the next book. I'll talk to you guys more tomorrow, but that was insane. And I also, real quick, finally found a good playlist to listen to. It took me so long. I don't know why it took me so long. That was the one I've been listening to, and it's actually really good. So all the other ones just like didn't fit the vibe. But anyways, I'll talk to you guys more tomorrow with my final thoughts and feelings and my reading. Well, here we are. So as you guys saw last night, I did finish Throne of Glass, and then immediately after I went on and I ordered Crown of Midnight. And then I noticed that Target had a deal going on where if you order the books online, you shave off like $9 or $10 off the original price, because the original price for these books online is like $19, and then on Target they're like $10 and $9. So I was like, you know what? And then I crunched the numbers. I added up all the books for the original amount of which they would normally cost if I were to buy them like in store or something, and it totaled to $135. So I was like, you know what, that's over time. If I waited to read each book and then go to the store and get it, that would kind of add up over time, right? So then I added up the price of the 7 books at the sale price that Target had it listed as, and it would be $73 total for the 7 books, plus some tax, obviously. So I would be saving $61. So here we are. I did this all at like midnight last night, so I thought I'd give you guys a little book haul. So the first order that I did last night was the Sarah J Maas Crown of Midnight. This is like the second book. How I'm reading this series, I've seen so many people, because I posted my TikTok where I pulled the book from the jar. Oh, you should have read Assassin's Blade first. Like I read Assassin's Blade and it was so much better with it. And then people were like, I'm so happy you picked Throne of Glass before Assassin's Blade. So there's such a divide in this like little community for Throne of Glass, which is so funny to me. And I was like trying to figure out like what Sarah J Maas said. And in her order that I saw in like a picture, she had Assassin's Blade going like third or fourth, so I have no clue. I think I'm just gonna continue on with the publication order because I know Assassin's Blade is like a collection of novellas, and I feel like that would be better to read later on because this gives you like the general idea of the story, and then I feel like then it's more interesting to learn background information. I don't know, that's just kind of like how my brain sees it. First book was Crown of Midnight. What do we have? This one's Tower of Dawn. This is insane. Oh my gosh, I'm actually so excited. Empire of Storms. And then we have one more bag, The Assassin's Blade, Queen of Shadows. And then I think this is the final one, Kingdom of Ash. Holy cow. How many pages is this? I don't want to like spoil anything. Oh my gosh. 980 pages. Wow. Okay. I'm actually so excited though. Yay! I did see someone like on a Reddit post say that The Assassin's Blade works really well to lead into another story. So I need to like try and find that. So I'm gonna do Assassin's Blade third. I also have no room on my bookshelf. You guys, this is so funny to me. No room. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put them up at the top and that'll be really cute. My parents don't even know I did this. If my dad saw that I bought, he will maybe if he watches this, but if he saw that I bought all these books, he'd be like, Brooklyn, what are you doing? I'm having fun. I'm living my life. So it's gonna go Throne of Glass, Crown, I wanna say Crowns or like Crown of Midnights, but it's not, nothing's plural about it. So Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Assassin's Blade, Heir of Fire, Queen of Shadows, Empire of Storms, and then Tower of Dawn. I know where Tandem reads. And then we have Kingdom of Ash. Oh my gosh, you guys, look how pretty the spines are. I am so excited. I wonder, should I like stack them? How many? There are 8 of them. I think I'm gonna go 4 and 4. Okay, I'm gonna do this real quick and then we'll start talking about Throne of Glass. The one thing that sucks about not being able to go into the store and like pick out the books is that sometimes they're damaged and they don't care. Like obviously the workers aren't gonna like analyze the book, but this has like indents and stuff. It's fine. It's fine. They're just books. They're meant to be read and stuff. Okay. Oh my god. Look at the height difference, you guys. It's so funny. You guys can't even see it. I'll show you guys though at a better. I love it. So I definitely feel like throughout this video I've talked a lot about my overall thoughts for this book, so I don't really have too much else to say. The ending, as you guys saw by my reaction, insane. I finally found a good playlist. I think I mentioned that too last night, and I played this one song on repeat for like the whole fight scene at the end of the book. It was We Could Form an Attachment, which is from the first season of Bridgerton. For whatever reason, that song just felt very cinematic and perfect for the moment, so I just had it on repeat. Truly, the ending was so good, and I liked the way that Sarah J Maas writes, and I love third person, especially because we were able to see different point of views of every character. It wasn't specific chapters dedicated to them. She just did it very seamlessly to where it jumped from one person to the next. I loved it. It was so good. I even like the pacing of her book. Like as we saw, there's 8 books in this series, and I'm sure as we go along, we're going to be learning so much information. So this book wasn't filled with a lot of information, but I feel like it was the right intro to kind of set up the world and kind of introduce and give people like a taste of what's to come, especially how the book ended. It wasn't like some big cliffhanger. I was able to read this book super fast as well, which I love. I thought it would take me a long time to read this, but the chapters, they're like the perfect length. I rated this book 3.75 stars. Not the highest rating, but I know that as the series goes on, it's gonna get better. I like this book. I think this is a really good fantasy book, and what I definitely like about this one too is like compared to other fantasies where the first book is just loaded with information, and this one does have a lot of information, but I feel like she delivered it in a way that was very bits and pieces. Like we took off a little bit at a time, and like I said, as the series goes on, hopefully we learn more about the story and the world. This one felt very easy to step into, and I feel like as a fantasy series, seeing this all over book talk and YouTube and stuff, I felt very intimidated going into this, but there's no reason to be intimidated by this. As someone who, obviously this is my first Sarah J Maas book, there's no reason to feel intimidated by the series, at least I hope. I mean, they are really thick books, and like I haven't read books that thick, I don't think. As I mentioned at the start of this video, I am gonna make this a whole series on my channel, so I wanna make dedicated reading vlogs to these, and they're gonna be spoiler free, and then obviously at the end of them, I'm gonna have spoilers, which is what I wanna get into right now. I don't know when I'm gonna read the next book, but I definitely wanna do it soon. I wanna try and honestly get through these before the year ends. I don't know how possible that will be for me, but I definitely wanna try and get through like a good chunk of them before December or 2026. So that is all of my thoughts and opinions on Throne of Glass. I love this book, and I'm so excited to continue on with this series. Now I'm gonna start talking about spoilers, so if you have not read this book, please click away. This is like your final warning to not be spoiled for Throne of Glass. Okay, a lot of this honestly, because once again, I love romance in books, and a lot of this I think is gonna be about the like love triangle. I don't know if it's gonna be a love triangle. I don't know, because I feel like the plot, I've seen people say that the romance is not like the forefront of this book, which is perfectly fine for me because I like the politics of this world. But when I tell you Kale and Dorian and Selena, I love them. It's so good. Honestly, the thing is with this stuff too, is like the best way I could describe when I pick people in love triangles, if this is even love triangle, maybe it's not, but I'm just like gonna say it is. Kale went and got Selena out of the mines. I'm gonna talk about every love triangle possible too. Conrad was the first one to like help Belly do things. You know what I mean? Like it's always the one that goes and gets the FMC in the love triangle, and then there's the other one who just is like there. You know what I mean? And they always end up going for that one because he's fun and happy and exciting and like they're giddy and stuff, but like the one that seeked you out and got you, that's the one you need to go for. So I am team Kale. If that's even like a thing, I love Kale, and the way the book ended, I will get to in a second. As I was going, I just kind of wrote down pages that I thought of. Page 180, I think Kale was kind of jealous that Dorian came into the room, and then page 196, I love the way that like Kale and Dorian indirectly ask Selena or like have a conversation with her and be like, so like what are your feelings about Dorian, or what are your feelings about Kale? Like what's going on there? Like I saw you guys talking or whatever. But instead of just directly saying like, do you like him, they're like dancing around the question, or even Kale and Dorian chatting to each other. So I thought that was funny because you can tell like the little competition and like the friendship that Kale and Dorian have. Obviously Kale respects Dorian and doesn't kind of want to overstep, especially because he's captain of the guard and like Dorian's the prince. But I just love their little conversations where like they're such guys because they're not going to directly just ask, you know. Page 199, I feel like the king orchestrated this competition as a ceremonial practice. The gargoyles on that tower are called guardians, and then all the like criminals and people that came in are called champions, and there's 24. I said they feel sacrificial and the king disappearing is odd and that he definitely knows something. I said this was chapter 27 and I wrote on a sticky note. I was kind of theorizing as I was reading. Curious if Dorian's younger brother is going to become like a villain later on in other books because he has like a temperament issue and that's why he was sent away. So I wonder if he's gonna like cause an issue later on where like Dorian's gonna get booted off as prince or like leave that role because he doesn't believe in what his father does or something. I did say that I think Nehema knows about the ward marks. I can't remember where she kind of like mentioned it, but it was whenever they were by the tower and Selena would say something, she'd be like, oh, I have no clue what those mean. That's kind of sus. And then it revealed at the end of the book that she does, so look at me. And then 301, I said, oh, I'm sick. I love Kale and he loves Selena. No, like yearning from afar. I can't. I have to read this to you guys. This reminds me of like those pictures. I'll have to try and find it on Pinterest when like, it was kind of like a trend where they'd post pictures with the princess and the knight in shining armor was like with her and it's like a man or whatever. Like that was like the thing. This is Kale where he's like captain of the guard and then he's competing with Dorian who's the prince. So it's like obviously he feels like he doesn't stand a chance with Selena. This was when after the ball Dorian kissed Selena. She like walked out into the balcony and she was like looking at the stars. She was like blushing. She was so happy. And then it cuts to his point of view at the very bottom. It says, in the garden the captain of the guard stared up at the young woman's balcony, watching as she waltzed alone, lost in her dreams. But he knew that her thoughts weren't of him. She stopped and stared upward. Even from a distance he could see the blush upon her cheeks. She seemed young. No, new. It made his chest ache. Still he watched until she sighed and went inside. She never bothered to look below. Stop it. And then I said, he's so in love with her, like he can't be with her. The yearning. Like it's just the way that he left the ball early. He wouldn't dance with her, but it's like he would if the Duke was gone. Also, I kind of forgot like where the Duke comes in with this. Like where did he come from? I feel like that was when I was listening to the audiobook and I just completely missed it. But like that scene, just like I could so clearly see it, like Selena up on the balcony and then Kale's down below just like watching her and admiring. He's so in like he's not letting himself have it. And then I said 360, he loves her OMG, but the scraping sound. Okay, yeah, I have a question about that. If you have answers or like thoughts about this, don't mention it in the comments because it's like spoilers, but there has to be like somewhere I could probably look this up. If you know anywhere that people talk about the books in order and no spoilers, please let me know because I'd love to have conversations with people about them. Oh, this was during the battle when like this is what I'm talking about. She has these like moments with Kale and then when she's with Dorian she like forgets about them, and I think it's because she loves like the instant gratification of like the feeling of being loved by Dorian because he easily gives out his love. Not like easily, but like he's very charming, very golden retriever, and whereas Kale you kind of have to like peel away layers and learn more about each other. And this is page 360. I want to call him Cole. Whenever I'm reading this I want to just call him Cole. Selena, Kale said gently, and then she heard the scraping noise as his hand came into view sliding across the flagstones. His fingertips stopped just at the edge of the white line. Selena, he breathed, his voice laced with pain and hope. This was all she had left, his outstretched hand and the promise of hope, of something better waiting on the other side of that line. Get out of here. But the scraping noise, I don't know if that was Cain like drawing his sword or something, but like the scraping noise sounds like the nails of like those demon beast thingies, so I was kind of confused about that, but it's just the fact that like there's that white line that's separating them and they're like reaching for each other in a moment of like dire need is insane. And then he's just like, Selena, like stop. And then it's also the way that she like ended things with Dorian. 10 out of 10, love it. Sorry, like I wonder though if that's gonna make Dorian kind of like cold to her or mean. 393, I said they have to be endgame. The tension, please, there's something there as they carry me away. That like genuinely as they're carrying me away and I'm screaming, they were endgame. It's when Kale went and visited her and she's like just waiting in her room kind of recovering from the fight that she had, and she hugs him. Then after a moment, his arms wrapped around her, keeping her close to him, so close that as she shut her eyes and breathed him in, she couldn't tell where he ended and she began. That reminds me of Emily Henry 1. His breath was warm on her neck as he bent his head, resting his cheek against her hair. Her heart beat so quickly, and yet she felt utterly calm, as if she could have stayed there forever and not minded. Stayed there forever and let the world fall apart around them. She pictured his fingers pushing against the line of chalk, reaching for her despite the barrier between them. Like, she feels it. There's a connection there. Like, there's so much tension. 392, she's like talking to him and she like steps up to him and she's like, she took another step closer to him, now having to tip her head back to look in his face. Okay, height difference. Like, she's like, you saved my life twice. Kale's brows narrowed slightly. I did what I had to, and that's why I owe you my gratitude. You don't owe me anything, he said, his voice strained, and when his eyes flickered, her heart tightened. And I was like, the tension, like it's there. I don't care. They are so good. And then it's just at the end of the book too. It's after she signed the contract with the king and she's walking out of the room with Kale and he goes, Selena Sardathian, the king's champion, he mused. What about it? I like the sound of it, he said, shrugging. Do you want to know what your first mission will be? She looked at his golden brown eyes and all of the promises that lay within them and linked her arm with his as she smiled. Tell me tomorrow. Like, I just love the way it ended, and it's like, if you're seeing, what is it, promises that lay within them, please. Because everyone says they love Dorian, so I'm really scared, but I just, like, I love Kale. That's like all I have spoiler wise for this book. I am just really curious to see where the plot lines go and how everyone's kind of connected. Obviously the king knowing about the ward marks and stuff is just, where did he go? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing that's so mysterious? I'm very excited. I need to figure out where the Duke came from. Like, what is the Duke? So that is the end of the spoiler section. I am so excited to start the next book. I definitely want to do it soon, but I also want to give myself a little bit of a break in between and kind of enjoy the series as it is. If you stayed throughout this whole video, I want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you've read Throne of Glass, if you read the series, or if you're just getting started. Maybe if you started with Assassin's Blade, your thoughts and opinions on that. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.